Hello, my name is Catherine Sullivan. Having once been a student in the Early Childhood and Education program at Columbus State, I am personally qualified to ask and answer the following question. What makes ECDE a folk group? A folk group is basically when a few or many people come together because of shared interests. Like how family members are tied together because of relation, folk group members are tied together with how they relate to one another. Because of this broad definition, many group-related activities can fall under this folklore umbrella. But what I want to find out is, what are ECDE's folk group characteristics? According to Martha Sims, in her book Living Folklore, she states that being a member of a family to any other folk group, no matter how loosely or informally defined, involves special knowledge of its language, behavior, and rules spoken or unspoken. Today I will be meeting with a good friend and graduate of the ECDE program, Ayana Thomas, to discuss the special characteristics in this ECDE folk group. This is the ECDE lab. Though it is predominantly used for students to do homework and other projects, students are welcomed to eat lunch, get help from their peers or teachers, or just relax on campus. Almost a secret hideout, this lab is key to the folk group's existence. In the lab at all times is a coordinator who helps students use equipment, tackle difficult homework assignments, and most of the time, be a friend to talk to. Today, in addition to Ayana, I will be interviewing one of our lab's coordinators, Peggy. The purpose of my interview is to talk about the characteristics that ECD has and how they contribute to lore. And by doing this, I will be interviewing two participants who are knee-deep in the ECDE community.
My name is Peggy Lucas, and I am, my title here is Lab Specialist, and I help run the lab. Yep. Cool. My name is Ayana Thomas, and I'm a recent graduate from the ECDE program.
Because our philosophy and work is mainly with children, our songs tend to be more of a childlike variety and are used to our advantage when interacting with younger ages. Name or sing or show kind of our example of an ECDE folk song. What do you think would be like a song that we have?
The first thing that comes to my mind is any kind of silly song. You know, some of the ones that are really popular are ones that the students will use in their in some of their projects, like, you know, 5 little monkeys swinging in a tree. Tease Mr. Alligator can't catch me. On goes Mr. Alligator, quiet as could be, and he snapped that monkey right out of the tree. So I can pull out about 50 more if you have time. So.
Right. A performance in the ECDE community looks a lot more unique than in any other typical group. Because we are a school group, our performances are academic based, and there's a lot of planning that has to go in before we will perform our information for our class.
I had to basically plan an idea that would be based off of children's interests. Then I would have to get the books, get the songs, gather ideas about what the lesson's actually going to be about. And then from there you plan an activity each step. So if I'm going to include the book, making sure I know all the details about it, practicing knowing the book word for word if I can, so it's not a jumbled mess. Creating all of the props, so if I had a felt board, I had to use all the die cuts and get everything taken care of, making sure it's organized and kept together so I have it prepared for when I do the activity, and then time to perform.
And then it's kind of funny too then when we talk about it with other students, as soon as we talk about having to do song props, or when we have to do picture files, like that's lingo that people don't understand what that means. But that's another aspect of folklore, is that we have our own language. Right. So I want to say a few words. I want you guys to like, these are words that people probably wouldn't know. I want you guys to kind of describe it, to kind of understand more like language that people wouldn't understand.
Okay.
Color printer. Well, how is that different?
do you want to hear like my first response? I'm like, thank you.
Song props.
Song props.
See, no one would know what that means.
Right.
And so, what is it?
Okay, so basically, it's all the materials you need to help you tell the story of the song, if that makes sense. I just think of like the materials that we use. So I'm thinking like die cuts, contact paper, the laminator. Like, how many people talk about the laminator?
Right.
In like funny ways too.
Right.
Who like chats about like everyday life over cutting out pieces of paper?
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
That's what I think of. I don't know. I just think of everything. I was thinking of like googly eyes. Like, how many people mention googly eyes?
Googly eyes.
I need to pick up some googly eyes and popsicle sticks. Yeah, that's what I need to get from the lab.
Another large part of a folk group's life is the physical creations a group makes.
Yeah.
In Jan Brunevard's book, The Study of American Folklore, he describes these creations as material folk traditions, which includes folk architecture, crafts, arts, costumes, and food. Uniquely then, in the ECDE community, this would be for us our children's and teachers' resource books, games, blocks, and other physical materials, academic visuals, and handmade crafts. So far, we have really discussed the characteristics that the ECDE community satisfies by becoming a folk group. But what I really want to ask now is, why are we so close-knit, and how does the location of the lab contribute to this?
Why do you think we have such a close-knit community? It doesn't have to be just facts about the lab, but in general, why?
I've been thinking about this when you first asked me to be a part of this, and what makes us so close-knit. I think there are a lot of factors that play into it. I think it's part of our nature as people in early childhood education. That's just part of our makeup, that we are caring people and we reach out to each other and we're supportive. But I do think that having this space helps to build our sense of community here, because people can interact in a much more informal way than they might in the classroom. It gives them a chance to be supportive with each other. A lot of times students will come and ask me questions that I don't have the answer to, so I just say, okay guys, does anybody else have an answer? And a lot of times students won't even wait to be asked. Somebody will just say, well, how about if you try, and we'll be like, that's a great idea. So I think that helps to bring us closer to each other. We just have this chance to, we sit and we eat with each other. We talk about how was your weekend while we're getting our work done.
And how do you think it was easy to become friends and form kind of a folk group?
Okay, well, I think first and foremost, we all share a love of children. So you have that immediate connection, something that makes you alike with this person. Yes. So you're not talking to someone in a science major and you have nothing in common. But then you get to learn about each other after. Okay, yeah, we both love children, but what about this? And you like the physical aspect of teaching children, and I like music, and I like this, and you put it together and you feed off of each other's ideas and energy, and then, boom, you have a connection.
When I've been doing my study with folklore, I've been finding that having a place to come together, like where you're actually able to be together, really, really contributes to have it staying united as a group. Like, especially like if you have a family group, like a folk group. I mean, you guys are most tight knit together when you're living in the home of each other. When you branch up, you make your own folk groups, and it kind of loses because you're not together all the time. So, I don't know, how do you think that having a place together really helps having unity as a folk group?
Okay, well, I have to say, my first semester in the program, I didn't know that this lab even existed. So I would go to class and go right home, and I didn't know, I didn't have really anybody to talk to. I kind of connected with people in my class, but it was just, we were in class time, so it's not like you got to talk and bounce ideas off of each other. So then when I did find this, I mean, friendships started to blossom. Like, I can't tell you how many people we've met in here to do projects and start to talk. I mean, if this wasn't available, I don't know that I could say I had any friends in the early childhood. And not that I wouldn't, but how else would I have connected with them so closely? Because I made friendships meeting other people and who I'd never even been in classes with.
Close it out for the video. So thank you guys.
You're very
for
welcome.
coming out. If you want to like wave and say bye.
Bye. So long from the ECDE lab.
I miss Peggy.
All right. Bye. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Don't forget to sign out.
I won't.
All in all, I have discovered a lot about what it means to be a folk group. Having a strong belief connection, as well as a common place to meet, equals a breeding ground for folk groups. And then after this foundation is made, all examples of lore is created. Songs, performances, language, books, crafts, art, etc. Being a part of this lore and contributing to it gives me a sense of pride that I have added to its legacy. I love this community. It has made going to Columbus State more of a home than school.